The town of Ravenswood lay shrouded in an eternal mist, its residents trapped in a living nightmare. It started with the disappearance of little Emily Wilson, who vanished into thin air while playing in the woods. Her parents, frantic with worry, searched every inch of the forest, but there was no sign of Emily. As the days passed, more children went missing, all of them taken from the same woods. The townsfolk were gripped with fear, whispering tales of an ancient evil that lurked in the shadows. Dr. Lee, a renowned paranormal investigator, arrived in Ravenswood to shed some light on the mysterious disappearances. He set up his equipment in the woods, determined to capture evidence of the supernatural force at work. The first night, Dr. Lee's cameras captured a faint, ghostly figure flitting between the trees. The image was blurry, but it was enough to convince Dr. Lee that he was dealing with a malevolent entity. As the investigation continued, Dr. Lee discovered that the disappearances were all connected to an ancient ritual that had taken place in the woods. The ritual, performed by a secret society, had unleashed a dark energy that had consumed the children. Dr. Lee knew he had to act fast to rescue the missing children. He gathered a team of brave volunteers and ventured into the heart of the woods, determined to confront the evil head-on. As they delved deeper into the forest, the mist grew thicker and the air grew colder. Dr. Lee's team began to experience strange and terrifying occurrences, disembodied voices, ghostly apparitions, and an unshakable feeling of being watched. Suddenly, the team stumbled upon an ancient ruined church, hidden deep in the woods. The building seemed to pulsate with a malevolent energy, and Dr. Lee knew they were getting close to the heart of the evil. As they approached the entrance, a blood-curdling scream pierced the air, and the team saw Emily Wilson, her eyes black as coal, her skin deathly pale. She was surrounded by the other missing children, all of them equally transformed. Dr. Lee realized that the children had been consumed by the dark energy, their souls trapped in a living hell. The team knew they had to act fast to save them. In a desperate bid to rescue the children, Dr. Lee performed a counter-curse, using ancient rituals to weaken the dark energy. The team fought bravely, but they were vastly outnumbered by the possessed children. One by one, the team members fell, consumed by the darkness. Dr. Lee was the last one standing, and as he faced the horde of possessed children, he knew he was doomed. The last thing Dr. Lee saw was Emily Wilson's twisted face, her eyes blazing with an otherworldly fury. Then, the darkness closed in, and Dr. Lee was no more. The next morning, the police found Dr. Lee's equipment scattered throughout the woods. The cameras were still rolling, capturing the eerie, unsettling atmosphere of the forest. But of Dr. Lee and the missing children, there was no sign. The town of Ravenswood remained shrouded in mist, its residents trapped in a living nightmare. The woods continued to whisper their dark secrets, and the legend of the possessed children lived on, a cautionary tale about the horrors that lurked in the shadows. And if you listen closely, on certain nights when the mist is thick, you can still hear the screams of the damned, echoing through the woods, a chilling reminder that some horrors never truly die.
Here's a new horror story. The isolation experiment Dr. Emma Taylor, a renowned psychologist, had always been fascinated by the effects of isolation on the human mind. She hypothesized that prolonged solitude could unlock the deepest, darkest corners of the human psyche. To test her theory, Dr. Taylor recruited 6 volunteers for an isolation experiment. Each participant would be sealed in a soundproof underground chamber for 30 days with no human contact or external stimuli. The chambers were designed to be escape-proof, with food, water, and oxygen supplied through automated systems. The participants would be monitored remotely through cameras and microphones, allowing Dr. Taylor to observe their mental deterioration. As the experiment began, the participants seemed to adapt well to their isolation. They kept themselves occupied with books, puzzles, and journaling. However, as the days passed, subtle changes in their behavior became apparent. One participant, Sarah, became increasingly paranoid, convinced that someone was watching her through the cameras. Another, Jake, started to experience vivid hallucinations, hearing voices that weren't there. Dr. Taylor observed these developments with great interest, taking meticulous notes. But as the experiment progressed, she began to feel a creeping sense of unease. It started with small things: equipment malfunctioning, strange noises in the corridors, and an unshakable feeling of being watched. Dr. Taylor tried to brush it off as mere paranoia, but the sensation grew stronger until she could no longer ignore it. One night, as she reviewed the footage, Dr. Taylor noticed something inexplicable. The participants' chambers were not as isolated as she had thought. There were things moving in the shadows, just out of sight. Dr. Taylor's blood ran cold as she realized that her experiment had unleashed something sinister. The participants, once sane and rational, were now catatonic, their minds shattered by the eldritch horrors that lurked in the darkness. As Dr. Taylor watched in horror, the cameras captured the participants' eyes turning black, their skin grey and decaying. They were no longer human, but vessels for ancient, malevolent entities. Dr. Taylor knew she had to terminate the experiment, but it was too late. The darkness had spread, infecting the entire facility. She was trapped, surrounded by the very horrors she had unleashed. The last transmission from Dr. Taylor's laboratory was a frantic distress call, cut short by an unearthly scream. The facility was found abandoned, the participants' chambers empty, except for a single chilling message scrawled on the wall: "We are the shadows, we are the darkness, we are the isolation." And if you listen closely, on certain nights when the darkness is thick, you can still hear Dr. Taylor's screams echoing through the abandoned corridors, a haunting reminder that some horrors are better left unexplored.